Raise your right hand. You solemnly swear that all the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God. I do. Please be seated, sir. And sir, would you tell us your name and spell your last name, please?
James A. Poetz Sr., Poeez.
Mr. Poetz, how are you employed?
I'm the owner-operator of Easttown Chem Dry Carpet and Upholstery Cleaning.
And how long have you been so employed?
Doing this for the last 4 years.
And in the course of that employment, have you had occasion to come in contact with the person you now know as Jeffrey Dahmer?
Yes, sir.
And is he seated in the courtroom? When did your contacts with Mr. Dahmer occur?
The first time was on November 5th of excuse me, I have a cold. First time was on November 5th of 1990.
And when was the second time?
June 17th, 1991.
Draw your attention to November 5th of 1990. How did you come in contact with Mr. Dahmer?
He called up for an estimate on cleaning his carpet in his apartment.
And did you go to his apartment to get that estimate?
No, I believe we did that over the phone, and he was satisfied with the initial price. We came out and remeasured the apartment, make sure the price was all right, and then did the carpeting.
And where is that apartment located?
I believe it was at 925 North 24th, 25th. Sure. Yeah, I believe it was 925 North 24th or 25th.
Could it be 924 North 25th?
Okay. Yes.
Do you recall the condition of the apartment on November 5th, 1990?
Yes, it was rather clean, nothing clutter, no clutter in the place. Normal amount of furniture. I didn't see anything out of the ordinary.
And did you notice any particular stains in the apartment?
Yes, in the bedroom of the apartment, there was quite a large dark stain on the carpet.
And did you ask Mr. Dahmer where those stains came from?
Not at that time, I believe. I believe we went ahead and tried to clean the carpet first to see if the stain would be removed.
And could the stain be easily removed?
No, it did not come out with a general cleaning. And at that point, I asked him if he happened to know what that stain was.
And what did he tell you?
He told me that he believed it was chocolate.
And based on your 4 years of experience, did that seem reasonable to you?
It seemed reasonable, but we had to do some spotting on it too. After he told me it was chocolate, I tried the things that we would do to remove chocolate, and it did not come out.
Okay, when it wouldn't come out, did you try other spotting agents then?
Yes, sir. All that I had in my tray, I tried, and it somewhat came out, but it was not chocolate.
Did you mention to Mr. Dahmer what you thought the stain was?
No, I just told him that I don't believe it was chocolate. It was more like red wine or blood.
Pardon me?
It was either red wine or blood.
Do you remember any peculiar odor in the apartment?
No, sir.
Do you remember anything about the apartment that was out of the ordinary?
Not really.
Showing what has been marked as statement exhibit number 70 for identification. Can you tell me what that is, please?
Yes, it was an invoice from 11/5/90, a paid receipt with my initials on it.
And is that an invoice that you gave to Mr. Dahmer?
This is a copy of the invoice.
Okay. Is that the one from your personal records?
Yes, sir.
And is that an invoice that you use in the ordinary course of business?
Yes, sir.
And did Mr. Dahmer pay on November 5th, 1990?
Yes, sir.
Do you recall how he paid?
In cash.
Let me draw your attention to June 17th, 1991. Did you again go to 924 North 25th Street?
Yes, sir.
And at that time, did you have opportunity to talk with Mr. Dahmer again?
Yes, sir.
Did you make any observations of the apartment at that time?
At that time, again, it was in relatively neat condition. There were some pictures on the wall. Do not know what they were. I didn't pay that much attention to it. I was mainly there looking at the carpet again.
Did the apartment seem markedly different from how it appeared on November 5th, 1990?
No, sir.
Did Mr. Dahmer appear any different from how he appeared on November 5th, 1990?
No, he was basically the same.
On June 17th, 1991, did you go to the apartment alone?
No, I had someone there with me.
Who did you have with you?
A helper of mine,
What's his name?
Larry Cook.
And did Mr. Cook assist you in cleaning the carpets at that apartment?
Yes, sir. Oh,
Do you recall ever having to leave that apartment on that day?
yes, I had to leave. I was ill that day, and I had to leave.
How soon did you leave it after you arrived there?
About 15 minutes. There was another individual also there with me. I did not leave him there alone.
Okay.
You can't do the job by yourself.
So there were three of you who went to the apartment?
Yes, I was there about 15 minutes, and I left.
Okay. And you left two employees behind you, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And did you have any reason to fear for the safety of your employees?
Not at all.
Now, you had the opportunity to meet Mr. Dahmer when you cleaned his carpet on November 5th, 1990, correct?
Yes.
And you saw him again for 15 minutes on June 17th, 1991.
Yes, sir.
Did you make any observations of him at that time?
Just on the second occasion?
No.
On the first occasion, just the fact of that large stain in the bedroom and how neat the apartment was. And
Did you make any observations of Mr. Dahmer himself as a person?
he seemed rather quiet person, but in my talking with him, he had said he had worked third shift in Ambrosia. And usually at that time of the day when we clean the carpets, that's like the middle of the night for some people when you're working third shift. So he seemed rather quiet. He was interested in how we clean the carpets.
Did he seem friendly?
Yes, sir.
Were you able to carry on an intelligent conversation with him?
Yes, sir.
Did you ever think he was hearing voices?
No.
Did you ever think he was having hallucinations?
No.
Was his speech ever incoherent?
No.
Did you ever think he was irrational in any way?
No.
Did you ever feel he was out of touch with reality?
No.
Based on your contact with Mr. Dahmer, what impression was made on your mind by his conduct, actions, manner, and expressions that you observed of him?
He seemed just like a regular normal person
No further
that I would
questions.
run across anytime.
Okay.
Cross-examination.
Good afternoon, Mr. Poetz. I just have a couple questions
Sure.
to ask you. When you spoke with Mr. Dahmer the first time on the phone, how long did you talk with him when he first called about the estimate?
Maybe about 5 or 10 minutes.
Okay. And when you went to his apartment for the first time on November 5th, 1990, how long were you in his apartment with him?
At that time out there, roughly around an hour, maybe a little more.
Okay. You indicated that there was a large stain on the bedroom carpet. Can you give us an idea how large that stain was?
Approximately 2 by 3 diameter.
2
by 3 feet,
2
approximately.
feet by 3 feet.
Yeah, somewhere between 2 and 3 feet.
Okay, and you indicated to Mr. O'Mara that I wasn't quite sure if you thought it was blood or wine, or did you actually tell Mr. Dahmer that that's what you thought it was?
The stain could, I realized that it wasn't chocolate. I tried a cleaning procedure for removing chocolate. After that, I tried a few other techniques that we use for removing different stains, such as red wine and blood. At that point, I would have said that was either red wine or blood, more closely to blood.
All right, the second time that you went to Mr. Dahmer's apartment on June 17th, 1991, again, did you speak with him on the phone?
Yes, he set up the appointment.
And did you talk for about 5 minutes or so?
5 or 10 minutes when I was there.
Now, when you went to his apartment to clean the carpet, again, was it stains in the bedroom carpet?
We cleaned the whole apartment. The stain was still there in the bedroom.
Okay, the stain was still on the bedroom carpet. Were there more stains in the bedroom carpet?
I don't believe so. But at the second time, I didn't spend as much time there as I did the first time.
You were there for 15 minutes.
Right, the second time.
Both times that you were at his apartment, back in November of 1990 and again in June of 1991, was Mr. Dahmer alone, or did he have someone else over there with him?
Oh, he was alone.
Compared to most of the apartments that you cleaned, did you feel his apartment was small or large?
I'd say it was about an average, medium-sized apartment.
Other than those 2 times that you were there cleaning his apartment, was there any occasion for you to be in his apartment again?
No, ma'am.
Okay, have you ever done anything socially with Mr. Dahmer?
No, ma'am.
Did Mr. Dahmer at all seem to be hiding anything from you while you were there?
No.
Did he appear to be secretive at all?
No.
And the invoice that was marked as an exhibit, I assume that he did sign his name to that, Mr. Jeff Dahmer?
Yes, he did.
No further questions, thank you.
Nothing further, Judge.
You may step down, sir. Thanks.
State called Mr. Kyle Wahley.
Raise your hand. Promise for all testimony you're about to give this matter will be the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth shall be God. I do. Please be seated, sir.
And then would you state your name, spelling your last name, please?
Name is Kyle Dean Wahley, Whaley.
And Mr. Wahley, how are you employed?
I'm employed at Illing Company.
At Illing Company?
Illing Company.
Could you spell that?
ILLING.
And how long have you been employed with that company?
About 11 months.
What's the nature of that business?
It's a container packaging business. We sell industrial shipping containers.
And what's your duties with that company?
My duties are sales service manager, like an inside salesperson.
And during the course of your employment with that company, did you have occasion to come in contact with someone you now know as Jeffrey Dahmer?
Yes, I did.
Can you identify him by where he's seated and what he's wearing?
We'll stipulate to the identity.
Okay.
Very well.
Do you recall what date you met with Mr. Dahmer on?
I believe it was July 12th,
Of what year?
91.
And when was your first contact with him on that day?
It was approximately 9:30 in the morning by phone.
And what was the subject of your conversation?
He was interested in purchasing some kind of container drum of some sort.
Did he say what he was going to use this container or drum for?
At that point in time, no.
Okay. Did this question seem fairly intelligent?
Yes, I did.
Did you give him a price range of what sort of drums you had?
I believe I did, yes.
And did he seem satisfied? Did he ask any other questions that you were?
He wasn't quite sure what he really wanted at the point in time, so he said he might come down and take a look at some of the drums we discussed about on the phone.
Did there come a time when he showed up at your office?
Yes, he did.
About when was that?
Approximately 2 hours later, about 11:30 in the morning.
And that's on July 12th, 1991?
That's correct.
When he showed up, how did you know it was Jeffrey Dahmer?
Somebody called me from the warehouse and said that somebody was there inquiring about a drum, said they had called this morning, so I assumed that that was the gentleman I spoke to.
And at that time, did you meet him?
Yes, I did.
Did you notice anything strange about him when you met him?
No, not at all.
When you met him, what did you do?
He introduced himself, and we talked about the conversation we had about the drums. And at that point in time, we went over to another warehouse, and I showed him some of the drums we were discussing.
Approximately how many different drums did he look at?
The most specific drums he was inquiring about were 10-gallon open-head industrial drums.
Okay, what's an open head drum?
An open-head is a drum that has a lid that fits on top. It's not a closed drum.
What's a closed drum?
It is like a tie head, like a 55-gallon steel drum or plastic drum is all one piece. An open head is two piece.
And did the two of you discuss the relative merits of each drum you looked at?
First, we looked at the 10-gallon drums. He said that that was not sufficient size. At that point in time, we went to the other warehouse where I showed him some larger size drums.
And did he appear to understand the difference between the drums that you were showing?
Yes, he did.
Did he eventually select one?
Yes, he did.
And did he end up paying for it?
Yes, he did.
How did he pay for
He
it?
paid for it by cash.
Showing you listed one state exhibit number 71. Can you tell me what that is, please?
That's a bill of lading on the sale that was made there at Elling Company,
And whose handwriting appears on that bill of lading?
Jeff Dahmer's.
And does your handwriting appear on it as well?
No, it doesn't.
Okay. And were you present when he was writing on that bill of lading?
Yes, I did.
And is that a document used in the ordinary course of business for the Elling Company?
Yes, it is. That's a tendered bill of lading for sale.
And is that the bill of lading you filled out on, that you saw Mr. Dahmer fill out on July 12th, 1991?
Yes, it is.
I will stipulate this.
Did you ever ask Mr. Dahmer what he was going to use the vat for?
I believe I did, yes.
And what did he tell you?
He said it was for packaging acid for home use, for breaking down large quantities into smaller quantities.
Showing you what's been marked as state exhibit number 72. You identify what that is.
That is the 57-gallon open-head drum that I sold Jeffrey.
Pretty sure that that's the same drum?
Pretty sure.
In your prior jobs, have you had experience hiring people
Yes, I've had.
and firing people
Yes, I've had.
and interviewing different folks?
That's correct.
All told, about how much time do you think you spent with Mr. Dahmer on July 12th, 1991?
No more than 30 to 45 minutes.
During the time you spoke with him, did you believe he was hearing voices?
No, I did not.
Did you believe he was having hallucinations?
No.
Was he able to carry on a reasonable conversation?
Yes, he was.
Did he ever give irrational answers to your questions?
No, he did not.
Did he ever seem incoherent in any way?
No.
Did you ever believe he was out of touch with reality in any way?
No.
What impression was made on your mind by his conduct, actions, expressions, and the conversations which you observed that you had with him?
It was pretty much a normal sale that our company has.
And Mr. Dahmer, what did he seem like?
He seemed like a normal person to me.
No further questions.
Cross-examination. Good. Was there something further or not? Oh, okay.
Mr. Wahley, Mr. Dahmer called you first before he came out. Was that right? And did he give his name on the phone when he called you?
No, he did not.
Okay, but he told you what he was interested in. Did he tell you a volume of drum he was interested in?
One.
Did he tell you what size?
No, no, he did
He
not.
didn't say, I want a 55-gallon drum
No.
or anything like that. He told you, though, that he wanted an open drum, right? And he didn't tell you on the phone what he was going to use it for,
No, he did not.
but he did tell you later.
Correct.
Okay. And did he volunteer that information, or was that something that you asked?
That was something I asked.
And what was his answer?
He was going to be packaging acid at home, turning quantities from large volumes to smaller gallons for small volume.
Okay. And he said he was doing this at home.
Correct.
Did he say what kind of acid?
Muriatic or hydrochloric.
Okay. Do you know what muriatic acid is used for?
Those acids are muriatic or hydrochloric are used for like when fireplaces are built, chimneys, hearths. It cleans the extra concrete off to leave a smoother surface on hearths.
Okay. So construction workers might have a use for something like that?
That is correct.
Okay. Did Mr. Dahmer tell you what he did for a living?
No, he did not.
And you're sure, as you recall it today, that he didn't tell you on the phone what it was that he wanted that tub for?
I don't recall.
Okay. You told him to come on out and look at the variety
did.
that you had so that he could pick out the one he wanted.
That's correct.
And you first went to your main building and looked at some that you had there, and then went to a different warehouse,
That's correct.
and then came back to the main building. Is that
That's
right?
right.
Now, in any of your conversation with him, did he have any hesitancy in as far as identifying himself or what it was that he wanted this that for?
No, not at all.
Okay, and you indicated that when you first met him that he identified himself to you.
Yes,
Did he tell you his name was Jeff Dahmer?
that's correct.
Okay. He never gave you any false information with respect to his name or
Not
anything
that
like
I
that?
know of, no.
Okay. Did you ever hear of somebody having a 57-gallon drum that size in an apartment building?
Not knowing he lived in an apartment building. I've heard of people come in quite often to buy single containers like that.
Okay, but he told you he was going to take it home and use it at home to move acid from a large quantity down into gallon
That's correct.
containers. You didn't know that this was going to be in an apartment.
No,
Okay. And he filled out that bill of lading.
I filled out the bill of lading. The only thing on there is his signature.
Oh, okay. So that does have your handwriting. Is that right?
It is my printing, yes,
Okay.
and his signature.
He signed it. He signed his own name.
That's correct.
He gave you his correct name and said he was from Milwaukee.
That's right.
And so far as you know, all that information is correct.
That's correct.
And the way that you found out about this is about 10 days later, you saw his picture on television. Is that right?
That's correct.
And at that time, you remembered that you had seen him at your place of business some 10 or 11 days earlier?
That's correct.
And you contacted the police, I take it?
I did.
I have no further questions.
I'm sorry.
Mr. Wahley, you didn't require Mr. Dahmer to show you any identification, did you?
No, I did not.
And normally you wouldn't require a person coming to purchase something like this to show you identification.
No, I would not.
Okay. So he could have very easily given you a false name and you would never have had occasion to suspect that that name was false.
I wouldn't suspect too much on a cash sale.
Right. And you've never heard of anybody using a drum of that size or form in an apartment, have you?
No, I have not.
That's all.
You may step down, Street, thanks.
State called Stephen Altman.
Please read. God swear all the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be the truthful and truth, and nothing but the truth, so help me God. Please be seated, sir.
Would you state your name, spelling your last name, please?
Name is Steve Altman, Altman.
Mr. Altman, how are you employed?
I am employed at National Ace Hardware.
And how long have you been employed by National Ace Hardware?
8 months.
And what are your duties there?
I am the paint department manager.
And where is National Ace Hardware located?
1303 North 4th Street.
And is that in the city and county of Milwaukee?
Yes, sir.
In the course of your employment, did you have occasion to come in contact with someone you now know as Jeffrey Dahmer?
Yes.
Is he seated in the courtroom now?
Yes, sir.
Stipulate to identification.
Do you recall what date it was that you had contact with Mr. Dahmer?
July 20th of 91.
Okay. And what day of the week was that?
A Saturday.
And what was your first contact with Mr. Dahmer on that day?
Earlier in the day, about 10 a.m., I had received a phone call from,
And what was the substance of that conversation?
he wanted to know if we had carried muriatic acid and in quantities.
And did you fill him in on that?
Yes, I notified him that we did carry quantities of it.
Did he ask for a specific quantity?
16 gallons.
And did you have that?
Yes, we did.
And what did he say when you told him about that?
Said, great, and he'll be right down.
Okay. Did there come a time that day when you met Mr. Dahmer in person?
Yes, sir.
About when was that?
About 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
And did that take place at National Ace Hardware?
Yes, sir.
Do you recall anything about Mr. Dahmer at that point?
Nothing out of the ordinary.
How did your contact with him occur? How did it take place?
Well, I was stocking paint thinner in our solvent aisle, and I happened to be putting out a case, and Mr. Dahmer just came around the corner.
And did he ask you a question?
He had asked if we had muriatic acid.
And what did you say at that
I
point?
said, oh, yes, are you the gentleman that had called earlier?
And what did he say?
Yes, he was.
So did you get the muriatic acid for him?
Yes, then I told him that it would take a few minutes. I'm going to have to go downstairs and get the acid.
And did you do that?
Yes, I did.
And did Mr. Dahmer purchase the 16 gallons of muriatic acid?
Yes, he did.
Do you remember if he purchased anything else?
A couple boxes of Soilax cleaning agent.
Anything else that you recall?
No, sir.
Okay. I'm showing you what's been marked as State Exhibit number 74. Can you tell me what that is?
This is a sales receipt showing the purchase of gallons of acid, Soilax cleaner, and some gloves.
And is that dated?
Yes, it is.
What date appears on it?
July 20th of 91.
And is there a time on it?
12/21.
And is that the sort of document kept in the ordinary course of National Ace Hardware business?
Yes, it is.
Would that be one that would go to, would that receipt in State's Exhibit number 74 be one that would actually go to the customer, or is that one that you would keep for store records?
This would be a copy similar to what the customer would take home with.
Okay. And can you tell that that's the receipt that was given to Mr. Dahmer?
Yes, I can.
How can you tell that?
16 gallons of muriatic acid.
Did you sell 16 gallons of muriatic acid to anybody else on July 20th, 1991?
No, sir.
I'm showing you what's been marked as State's Exhibit number 73. Can you tell me what that is?
Also a receipt showing the purchase of acid, Soilax, and gloves.
And does that appear to be the original receipt that would have been given to the customer at that time?
Yes, sir.
Is it possible that State's Exhibit number 74 could have come from your bookkeeper's office?
Yes, it would have.
How can you tell that? What's the difference between 74 and 73?
73 is the actual inked copy that would be given to the customer, and Exhibit 74 is run off in a series of tape. Our tape keeps track of all of the sales throughout the day, so we can go back and check purchases.
During the time you talked with Mr. Dahmer, Did you believe he was hearing voices?
No, sir.
Did you think he was having delusions?
No.
Hallucinations?
No.
Was he able to carry on a conversation in an intelligent manner?
Yes, he was.
Did he ever appear incoherent?
No, sir.
Ever appear irrational?
No.
Did you ever believe he was out of touch with reality?
No.
No further questions.
Cross-examination?
Mr. Altman, did you know Mr. Dahmer is coming in the store in the past as a customer of any kind?
No, sir.
You did not? You never saw him before until that day?
No.
It indicated at some point in time when you had talked to police detectives that you did know him as a customer from the store. You'd never seen him otherwise. You're saying today that you never did.
Never seen him before that time. No, sir.
Okay. Do you know what someone would have use for muriatic acid and Soilex that he bought that combination of things that day?
They're not related items.
They're
The
not.
The acid would be used in construction as such to etch concrete, whereas the Silex would be used for cleaning walls or floors.
Okay. Since you don't know him to be a regular customer of any kind, did you have any idea of what kind of business he was in at the time that he came in?
No, I
Did he pay with a company check?
paid with cash.
Paid with cash, so you had no idea at all whether or not he was buying this for his personal use or for someone else?
That's correct.
Would you consider that somebody purchasing such a large quantity of muriatic acid would be considered in bulk?
That would be considered a bulk purchase, yes.
That's something that ordinarily, if somebody would purchase that kind of quantity, it would be for the purpose of some construction company?
No.
They otherwise buy it from a wholesaler if they're going to buy it that much,
Yes,
wouldn't they?
that's correct.
Did you consider that to be unusual?
That type of sale, yes, it would be.
Likewise with the Soilex?
Silex, no.
Okay. Did you see how he arrived or left?
No.
Okay. No further questions?
You may step down, sir.
State Police Officer Al Beto. Judge, I don't know where my witness is. It may take a couple minutes to find, 5 minutes.
Take a short recess, question recess.
I just, we have another witness to go to, so.
You got somebody else that you can,
I'd say if you give us 3 minutes.
okay, question recess.
All right, waiting. There.